Oh God. What happened to my clip here? Oh, no. And then I need to switch to angle 2, which is empty now. So I'm down here, but I can't hear it. I can't hear what the audio is. Why? Oh dear God. This is gonna be a terrible short. Why is it not copying the zoom? Having to go up here to move the playhead is making me crazy. Oh God, no! All right, now okay. This is feeling good. This is better. This is better. It's just a dream. It's just a bad dream. That's all. No! Alright, so if you're here, you're wanting to see me struggle with DaVinci Resolve, editing a video for the first time in Resolve. Now, I have been working with Resolve for years and years, doing color turnover from Final Cut Pro for color grading in Resolve. I've exported or created DCPs, and I've also used DaVinci Resolve on set to do transcodes or dailies when we're shooting in a RAW format or whatever, and we need to upload to the cloud so that people in LA, New York, wherever they are, can look at dailies from the shoot. So I thought it would be fun to take this YouTube short that I made about using the Monogram video console in Final Cut Pro and actually try to edit it using DaVinci Resolve. Now, I'm not gonna use the cut page, I'm just gonna use the edit page. I haven't done anything to prep for this. I haven't looked at Resolve, I haven't watched any videos, I haven't done anything. I don't even know if the keyboard shortcuts I use in Final Cut Pro are gonna be set up for Resolve. Let's just dive in to DaVinci Resolve 18. I have the most recent version. Now, the first thing we need to do is create a project. How in the world do you do that? We are going to start a new project, and we're going to call it, what is this, episode or video short number 20, is it 21? What the heck short is this? Call this 20, and Monogram video console short. Okay, well, that wasn't so bad. Next up, we need to import our media into the media pool. Let's do it. Let's go into users, me, movies. All right, you guys get the gist of how to import media. If you want to see the specifics on this, let me know, but this is really boring. I want to organize this. How do I create? So here I am trying to figure out how to create bins similar to folders and events in Final Cut. I'm prompted to change the frame rate, so I go into the project settings, set up the frame rate, the resolution, orientation, render files, all that. Super boring stuff. So how do you, timelines, new bin. Okay, so let's make a bin. All right, so you know how much I love media organization. Let's just fly through this and get to the next part. And then is there a way to do keyboard shortcut profile for Final Cut Pro? All right, let's move this along. I found the Final Cut Pro keyboard shortcuts, yay me. So first keyboard shortcut I would normally use in Final Cut is to take this and put it down in the timeline. I would hit E to do that, but that's not working here. Insert selected clips into timeline. All right, let's just move it along, people. This is so boring, come on. Finally, some actual editing, let's get into this. DaVinci Resolve, are you gonna stack up to Final Cut Pro? Let's go. Now, one thing that DaVinci doesn't do is it doesn't have, as far as I know, a skimmer playhead. So like right now, me moving my mouse doesn't skim the clip like it does in Final Cut. Final Cut has a playhead and a skimmer. I didn't know how truly devastated I would be to lose the skimmer. And then so what I would normally do is I would hit option bracket, and that doesn't work for this, just to like trim and trim start. So I'll just do that. Now, do you see what just happened there? In order to do a trim on this, you have to pull the left side in, and then you have to move the clip to the beginning of the timeline. It's a 2-operation action, where in Final Cut Pro, it's just 1. Now, there might be a setting in DaVinci that lets you reduce it to just 1 action or 1 operation to do something, but I haven't figured out how to do that yet. Anyway, let's get back to Resolve. Of course, I blinked, you idiot. Oh, so this is weird to me. I can't click in this like gray area to move the playhead like I can in Final Cut. I have to like click way up here where the time code is to actually move it. I really took the playhead and skimmer for granted in Final Cut until I started editing here in DaVinci Resolve. I really love in Final Cut how your cursor dictates where the skimmer goes, and you can start playback wherever the skimmer is, do an edit operation or a keyboard shortcut wherever the skimmer is,
and then you can move the playhead for other operations that you need the playhead for. It's just a much more fast and zippy and sort of edit at the speed of thought feel with Final Cut Pro.
I wonder if there's any kind of audio effects I can add. Effects, do they have any audio effects? Audio effects. So here I'm just trying to source some audio effects so I can mimic what I do in Final Cut Pro to enhance my dialogue audio. Can I see my waveform? How do I see my how do I see my...
I'm trying to find my audio meters.
Mixer? Oh yeah, there we go. So we need to bring the audio up. How do I do that? How do I raise the audio? Do I do it with this? I want to show you the 3 shortcuts. Okay. I love multicam editing in Final Cut Pro. Let's see how good DaVinci Resolve's version of multicam editing is. How do I select multiple clips that aren't... there's no, like, how do I show all? No. Oh, okay. Oh, so you select both the bins and then you can select. All right, let's see how their multicam stuff works. I don't know, we'll just call this demo multi. Angle sync, in, out, timecode. We'll do sound. Yes, detect clips from same camera. That could be really cool. All right, let's see what this does. Let's create this sum. Auto sync failed. Okay, does it still make the multicam clip? Okay, it did. How do I look inside of it? Oh boy. Let's put this down here. How do I, like, is there a way to edit the inside of the multicam? New compound clip, new open in timeline. There we go. Okay. Okay. So we got to sync this sum. Now, are these linked? Okay, they are, so that's cool. 2667, so 2668, and 2669. So I need to get these down.
So with multicams in DaVinci and Final Cut, I feel like there is a huge difference. In DaVinci, it looks like it really just compiles a selection of clips into a pre-made timeline, whereas in Final Cut Pro, you have the multicam editor or the angle editor that allows you to really do some powerful things with syncing clips between each other and establishing the different angles inside your multicam. I love how Final Cut Pro does it. Alright, so I am way off with the inside of my multicam and how my clips are synced to the audio. These clips of the monogram are not synced properly to the audio, and it's going to cause some serious problems down the line that you'll see, so stay tuned.
And then let's go, how do I go back out of the current?
I think I can actually hear all of you Resolve editors screaming at your screens, trying to tell me where to go to switch out of my multicam and back to my normal timeline.
Demo multi-select timeline. Oh, here we go. Okay, there we go. So I get all my audio here. In the editing profile on my monogram video content. Okay, so why am I not seeing my angles over here?
So again, you'll see that to do this trim from the left to the right, it's a 2-operation situation. So I'm just convinced there has to be a faster way to do my A-roll cutdown of this video, and I find something interesting.
Dynamic trim mode. Oh, cool.
Now this is what I'm talking about, DaVinci Resolve. This is something very reminiscent of the magnetic timeline in Final Cut Pro, being able to dynamically trim your clips so that you can make these nice tight edits.
Why? Just stop doing that. Push one button and No. No. I don't. Is it because that's selected too? What? Oh, I'm not in dynamic trimming. No, that's the blade tool. What? What?
I'm so sorry, DaVinci Resolve editors, for torturing you with my stupidity when it comes to enabling the dynamic trim option. I understand it now, but here I was just very, very confused trying to figure out the UI and how to use dynamic trimming.
There we go. God, it feels so slow with this. I'd be almost done with this by now in Final Cut, and that's not a fault of DaVinci. It's a fault of me not knowing it, but holy cow is this tough. I just want to hit Option bracket and trim this up. So I have to check the trim tool. and then do this. And then I have to deselect that, which I'm sure there's a keyboard shortcut that makes it faster. And I can push one button to turn the inspector off.
If I just took the time to understand the trim end and trim start keyboard shortcut, I'd be in a lot better situation, not relying on dynamic trimming to do my A-roll cut down.
Having to go up here to move the playhead is making me crazy. Oh, no. What do I want to do? Oh yeah, so I have to do trim, and then get that where I want it. And I have to deselect that and then go back to that one. Okay, so let's blade that. Even though I don't see where these other angles are from. I can't hit Command B. What? Okay, let's go to the next part, which this sucks. I don't want to just do this. And then there's got to be like a ripple delete or something. Yeah. Okay, so it's shift delete. Okay. Shift delete. Okay, that's nice.
If you DaVinci Resolve editors haven't thrown your computer or your phone at the wall yet, I'm waiting for you to do that, because if I could just learn trim end and trim start, I'd be set.
B, click, A, shift delete. Okay. Oh, I can't. I have to put the stupid playhead.
So at this point, I'm just forging ahead. I'm not taking my own advice that I give in my own videos of taking the time to learn some of the keyboard shortcuts. I'm using the blade tool and ripple delete to just knock this A-roll cut down out, when I really should be opening up the keyboard settings so I can learn how to finally do a trim end and trim start. And if I did that, even though there's an extra step of having to delete the gap it creates, I think it'd be a little bit faster than doing the blade and ripple delete approach. But you get in the zone and you just are forging ahead, and that's what I'm doing here, plain and simple.
So just getting the rough in isn't terrible. I don't know all the keyboard shortcuts and how to change. The dynamic trimming's interesting, although I don't understand why on playback. It must be because like you're just like checking when you do a dynamic trim. You're like checking to see how it fits. And so it only plays back like 24 frames or something before it bounces back to the cut point. I don't know what trim end and trim start are, so I wonder... let's see, trim end. Okay, so shift, it's shift. Okay, trim start. So if I wanted to tighten something up, use the range tool, I would hit shift bracket. Okay, so this is again, like there's no magnetic component to this. In Final Cut, all of these clips would slide down with it when you did that edit. So I don't know if there's a mode where DaVinci will like ripple delete something when you are using trim end and trim start. So if I hit shift right close bracket, I just have a gap. Now I can select that gap and hit delete and it ripples down. But how can I combine those two so that just like in Final Cut, it's one operation instead of two? Yeah, I don't. That's what drove me nuts about Final Cut 7. You just like had all these extra things you had to do to get a simple cut done. And this playhead is driving me nuts. But the skimmer in Final Cut, I can just move things anywhere, click anywhere in this gray area, and I can start playing back the clip. In DaVinci, I have to go all the way up to this small area at the top of the timeline to move the playhead to different parts of the edit. And I remember that in Final Cut 7, and it drove me nuts if I ever had to go back to Final Cut 7 from Final Cut 10. All right, so I'm gonna have to duplicate this. So hopefully it's Option click and it duplicates. Okay, and then I want to switch to this angle.
You guys want to see me struggle? You're about to watch it, because I cannot figure out these multicams at all.
Do I double click it? How do I drag it? What do I do to make the active angle this other angle? Render in place, copy, delete selected, change clip, retime curves, normalize, clip color, find a media pool, duplicated frames, switch, there we go, switch the multicam angle. Okay, all right, okay. Now is there a keyboard shortcut for that?
Aren't you all so proud of me? Look, I'm learning custom keyboard shortcuts, yay! Now it's time to practice cropping and transforming in DaVinci Resolve. Normally I'm really fast in Final Cut Pro with this, but I'm slow in DaVinci.
I like in Final Cut that I can like grab the like I can grab it and move it. Is there a way to put it in some kind of like transform mode where I can just grab the stuff here? Okay, here we go. Yeah. Now we're talking. Okay. Now how do I make the view? Oh, 79%. Okay, here. So let's go 50. All right, now okay, this is feeling good. This is better. This is better. And we can.
Now here I finally feel like I'm using this like I can use Final Cut. The tools are responding the way Final Cut does, and this is very familiar to me what I'm doing with these tools.
Okay, so we need to duplicate this. I need to hit 2 to change the angle. Nice. Can I copy and paste my transform settings? Paste attributes. Oh, nice. I want to paste scale. Let's just do scale.
Paste attributes, dear old friend. It's so nice to see this in Resolve.
Option V. Yeah, sure. Okay. Oh God. I've got some stuff that's kind of off here. Oh, this is tough.
Yep, the old multicam issue comes back to haunt me. Gotta fix it.
Okay, so I have a sync issue here. Open in timeline. Is this not synced correctly?
It just amazes me how I don't see that these clips are out of sync.
Why can't I hear this? Why can't I hear the sound from angle 1? I can see the waveform and I can see the thing.
What I'm trying to say is I can see the audio meters are going up and down, but I can't hear any audio. I think this is from how I recorded it in Logic Pro.
Because I'm obviously not using the right thing here. I think it goes, yeah, this is the right part of the clip. Okay, well, I can't hear anything from my main angle, so I'll just...
This issue is obviously all me. I am just all sorts of messed up when it comes to syncing the contents of this multicam. There is something about working in DaVinci Resolve that has my brain locked up and I just can't see the obvious, and I'm really, really struggling here.
This just is baffling me that the audio meters are showing audio and I can't hear anything. How am I supposed to select the clip that I want to use in my edit if I can't hear it on the multicam? Do I have the wrong audio angle selected? Is there a way to change the audio angle? It can't play multiple is it that? Is it just because I have that selected? That's it? I was just on the wrong thing?
I can push one button.
Okay, that makes sense.
I'm embarrassed by how terrible I am at using Resolve. This angle issue was so obvious. How did I not see it?
What happened to my clip here? It's gone. Oh dear God. Did I just have... Is everything just completely out of sync?
Yes, it is.
Is that what's going on here?
That is precisely what's going on here. You have no idea what you're doing.
Okay. All right. This is all me having this all messed up. Why is that cut so crappy?
It's probably hard for you to hear this, but the audio just does not sound good between the cut point, and that's usually expected. I just need to figure out how to fix it.
How do you just do a quick audio crossfade? Do you like put an actual cross dissolve on them? Audio transitions?
Oh, look, I actually found something I was looking for quickly.
Crossfade? Oh, okay. Crossfade. Okay. All right. I can work with that.
One button.
I can work with that.
Spectre. I can push one button.
It still pops.
I can push one button. Spectre. I can push one.
All right. Well, whatever.
Yeah, it's time to move on.
And then I need to switch to angle 2, which is empty now. Oh God, no! So I'm down here. But I can't hear it. I can't hear what the audio is. Why? Why can't I hear the audio? I just feel like I can't easily sort out the insides of my multicam. This has got to be a fault of me, but I have to be able to hear the main audio to be able to sort of figure out what mistakes I've made inside the multicam. I know I'm using a clip from this section and I need to be further down, because obviously when I open this, it's showing me the portion that's in the timeline, the main timeline, and I'm needing something from down here. So this is the wrong section. That's what's happening. Okay. That's what's happening. You guys might be screaming at your screen going, duh, you idiot. I've been trying to tell you that for 5 minutes. Okay. Let's go back out to the main timeline. And now my angle's there. Okay, that's good. So I can copy this and then paste it.
Please forgive me. I am so sorry, DaVinci Resolve editors, for torturing you with my stupidity when it came to this multicam and my audio sync issues within it. I am incredibly relieved that I finally figured it out, and now I can hit my stride with laying in all these clips, getting the transforms done, and finally getting it to look something like it would look like if I was editing in Final Cut Pro. It's a miracle I've come this far.
Okay, that's not what I wanted. All right, so copy, Option V. I want all of this copied over, so apply it. Why is it not copying the zoom? Okay, so I'm hitting Command C, and I want the same. I've been doing this already. Option V. I have all this selected. Apply. Is it not? Oh, God. Why is it not doing it? Oh, because you're doing it to the wrong one, you moron. Jeez. What an idiot.
Alright, so this is where my knowledge for DaVinci Resolve ends.
Okay, I think that's enough for now. This is quite the fun experiment here. So, this isn't like absolute torture going through this edit. The big things that I'm struggling with obviously are keyboard shortcuts. I'm so used to keyboard shortcuts in Final Cut Pro, and I can't use them here because the keyboard shortcuts, even though I'm selecting the Final Cut Pro keyboard setting in DaVinci, it's not quite the same as Final Cut Pro. There's some slight differences. Had I double checked and looked up the trim end and trim start, I would have been able to get through this A-roll a little bit faster. Big things I'm bumping up against are the playhead. Like, I can't skim or just like click anywhere in an empty space in the timeline and get the playhead to move there so I can start playing back my video. I can't figure out how to make the waveforms bigger in appearance. I'm sure that's something super simple and easy to figure out, but I want the waveforms to be much bigger and wider so I can see them more easily. The big thing with the multicam is when I go inside of it, I can't hear the audio from the angle 1. I don't know why I can't get it to show me that, or to let me listen to that angle's audio inside, so I can more easily sync things up. But once I did get everything synced properly, which really that was the core issue, I just hadn't synced everything correctly to my main screen recording clip, and once I got that figured out, then it's easy. I can option click these clips to duplicate them, switch the angle very easily. I customized the shortcut so I could just hit 1, 2, 3, or 4 to change the angle. That's all great. I can apply some audio effects with the compressor and get my audio a little bit better. Normally, again, I would like gussy this up with animations of the screen, the screen recording. So pushing in and doing all kinds of stuff with the Final Cut Pro user interface. I'm not even gonna begin to attempt that now, even though I'm sure it's possible to either animate it here in DaVinci using keyframes, or to use plugins to do it, just like I use Add Motion in Final Cut Pro. Obviously, when I get to color grading, I would normally use Film Convert in Final Cut Pro. I know Film Convert has a version for DaVinci, so I would probably figure that out to finish up the edit. Finesse my audio crossfades a little bit, get those nice and clean, check my levels to make sure they're consistent. The other thing that bothers me is, you just move a clip a little bit and all of a sudden you've deleted this portion of a clip. I just never loved that about track-based editing, that you could do one wrong thing and do some damage. So if there was a bunch of sound and stuff in multiple tracks and I was moving something around or whatever, I get worried about messing something up where I don't see it right away and discover it later. And again, just like the trim end stuff, if I see this clip here and I want to trim this part off and hit, shift right bracket, this doesn't shift down automatically. I have to click this and hit delete. So hit me up in the comments if you're like a super pro DaVinci editor and you're like, no dude, it will pull it down. You got to be in the cut page, or there's a keyboard modifier you have to hit, and it'll not only trim end, but it'll also pull that gap and get that removed so you don't have to select it and then delete it. That's the beauty of the magnetic timeline. All I have to do is hit trim, hit the keyboard shortcut, and it pulls everything down to where I want the new cut point to be. So, again, I don't have any negativity towards Resolve. I think it's a great app. A lot of people use it. For me, it would be the track-based editor I would choose first if I had to ditch Final Cut Pro, or if Apple stopped using Final Cut Pro. And a lot of the friction that I experience is just because I'm not terribly familiar with this, like trying to get the multicam to play back the correct audio. I'm an idiot and I had the wrong angle selected. So of course it's not going to play back the audio that I want it to play. And whenever I watch people who are working in DaVinci or Avid or Premiere Pro try out Final Cut for the first time, I sit there watching those videos and I'm just like screaming on the inside, no, just do this, no, just do that, no, just do this, just do that. And I'm sure some of you are doing that with me. It's a learning curve, and I could see myself getting used to this and figuring it out, working with it instead of against it, as long as I learn keyboard shortcuts and this and that. I can tell already, just with the stuff I can do in Final Cut Pro, the audio editing I want to do, plug-in things that I want to do, effects, animations, everything I can do so easily in Final Cut. I think it would take me weeks, if not months, to even get close to the same level that I am in Final Cut. I bet you it would be 6 months to a year, really, of really focused learning the keyboard shortcuts, watching tutorials, talking to other DaVinci Resolve editors to really get this nailed down. This was a fun experiment. I'm not going to finish this short here in DaVinci Resolve. I'm just going to re-edit it in Final Cut Pro so I can get this short kicked out. And who knows, maybe I'll check it out a little bit more. I do have a paid for copy, but it's on my MacBook Pro, so I need to get that transferred over to this so I can access some of the other effects and the different things that they have going on in the full studio version. But that's it. Final Cut Pro editor working in DaVinci Resolve's edit page for the very first time trying to cut a video. And I say, I didn't do too terrible. So let me know down in the comments what you think, what I could have done differently, if there was something that I was bumping up against and there's a simple fix or solution, keyboard shortcut, whatever for it. I'd love to hear from you. But that's all I've got for this one. Till the next one, I will see you all soon. Don't forget, whether it's DaVinci Resolve or Final Cut Pro, keep chopping that broccoli.